Hello, I'm Amy, and I'm a nurse by profession. After another busy shift at the local hospital, a place where I'm fortunate not to have any late-night shifts, I finally got home, though it was a bit later than usual. I'm home, I called out as I walked through the door. Yay, you're back, came the bright reply from my daughter, Janice. Janice is just 8 years old, and she often finds herself alone in the afternoons, waiting for me to return. It pulls at my heart to see her so independent at such a young age, and I can't help but feel guilty. Still, I consider myself fortunate compared to some of my colleagues who work unpredictable hours at hospitals with few family-friendly options. Where's Dad today? I asked as I took off my coat. He's not home yet, she replied, a touch of sadness in her voice. It feels like I haven't seen him in forever. Jack, my husband, is a workaholic. He's hardly ever around, and when he is, it feels like he's a stranger at the dinner table. On his days off, he's usually at his mom Charlotte's house, either tending to her garden or sharing a meal with her. He's missed every one of Janice's soccer games and spelling bees, and that has really taken a toll on our family. I'm sorry you're left by yourself so much, I said, feeling the weight of it all. It's okay, Mom. You're here every day, and that's enough for me, Janice answered, trying to sound brave. I hugged her, wishing we could be the kind of family who spent more time together every evening. Then one day, Jack surprised us by coming home early. The dinner table was unusually quiet until, out of nowhere, Jack broke the silence. How about we take a trip to Hawaii for the holidays, he suggested. I was stunned, barely able to process what I was hearing. After all this time, Jack was suggesting a family vacation? We hadn't had a real break in years. Janice was overjoyed. We can go to Hawaii. Yes, 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 she shouted, her enthusiasm contagious. Though I had mixed feelings about it, especially when I realized Jack had planned it around his mom Charlotte's birthday, I agreed, not wanting to disappoint Janice. The day of the trip arrived, and Jack and I were both swamped at work. We had planned to meet at the airport, but my day dragged on longer than expected, and Janice and I rushed to make it. When we finally arrived, we couldn't find Jack or Charlotte anywhere. Confusion turned into frustration. Where did they go? I asked, trying to call Jack, but the phone went straight to voicemail. Panicking, I went to the airline desk for help. A staff member approached me. Are you Amy Martin? She asked. Yes, that's me, I replied, startled. She handed me a small note. As I unfolded it, a sense of dread washed over me. The note was from Charlotte. If you can't be on time, we won't wait. We're going ahead without you. Maybe you should just stay behind. Charlotte. My heart sank. Janice looked up at me with wide eyes. What's wrong, Mom? I tried to hide the truth behind a forced smile. It's nothing, honey. Looks like your dad and Grandma decided to go ahead without us. I'm sorry, but it seems like our trip to Hawaii isn't going to happen. But can we catch another flight? Can't we follow them? She asked, her eyes full of hope. I hesitated. A last-minute ticket was way beyond what I could afford. We'll see what we can do, I said, hoping I sounded convincing. At that moment, I heard a commotion. An elderly man had collapsed nearby. Instinctively, my nurse training kicked in, and I rushed to his side. His breathing had stopped, and I quickly cleared his airway, finding it blocked with vomit. Someone, please call an ambulance. I shouted, administering first aid. Paramedics arrived quickly, and the man was rushed to the hospital, regaining consciousness. He looked up at me and asked, "Were you the one who saved me?" Yes, I replied humbly, feeling a mix of relief and pride. Just did what anyone would do. That's not true, Raymond said, his face softening with gratitude. Thank you so much. I thought I was a goner. We exchanged pleasantries, and after a moment, Raymond asked, "Were you heading somewhere?" His question brought me back to reality, and I explained the situation. Yes, we were supposed to be flying to Hawaii, I said, a wave of disappointment washing over me. But we missed it. My work ran later than expected. Raymond's face grew sympathetic. That's really too bad. I can tell your daughter was excited, he said, glancing at Janice. Why don't you just buy another ticket? I felt embarrassed. The truth is, we can't really afford another one, I admitted with a sad smile. Raymond thought for a moment, then made a decision. As a token of my appreciation for saving my life, I want to pay for your tickets. You and your daughter should still be able to go. I protested, but Raymond was already on the phone with an airline representative. After a quick conversation, he turned to me with a smile. If I don't thank you properly, I won't feel right, he said, half joking. In the chaos, I hadn't realized that the note from Jack and Charlotte had slipped out of my pocket. Thanks to Raymond's generosity, Janice and I found ourselves on a plane to Hawaii, seated comfortably in business class, something I hadn't expected. When we landed, I realized I hadn't confirmed where Jack and Charlotte were staying. But as we collected our luggage, a man approached us. Are you Amy and Janice? He asked warmly. Yes, we are, I replied, surprised. Nice to meet you, he said, handing me a business card from a prominent logistics company. The chairman asked me to make sure you were taken care of. I froze. The elderly man I helped, he was the chairman? The man nodded. Yes. Thank you again for helping him. I was in shock. Raymond, the man we helped, was the chairman of a major company? I was speechless as he continued, we've arranged transportation for you both to your hotel, as per the chairman's request. Enjoy your stay in Hawaii. A sleek limousine awaited us outside, and I couldn't believe how surreal everything felt. As we climbed in, I felt a bit nervous, checking my shoes before sitting down. Janice's eyes lit up as she took in the luxurious interior. Wow, this is amazing, she said, her excitement spreading to me. As we drove through the breathtaking Hawaiian landscape, the views were like scenes from a dream. The palm trees swayed in the breeze, and the air felt like endless summer, making our chaotic start feel like a distant memory. I was filled with gratitude for how far I had come, and Janice couldn't help but be mesmerized by the view, her face glued to the glass as she soaked in every moment. When we arrived at the Grand Hotel, the extravagant building left me in awe, but as we neared the entrance, an unsettling thought crossed my mind. Oh no, I never booked a room, I murmured, a wave of concern washing over me. The man accompanying us quickly reassured me. Don't worry, your room has already been reserved on the top floor. I paused, still uneasy, but I can't afford this, I admitted, my anxiety creeping back. He smiled calmly. It's already taken care of, the chairman insisted. Raymond's generosity overwhelmed me, and the VIP treatment felt surreal. When we entered the hotel and were escorted to our room, we were greeted by a lavish suite with panoramic ocean views. The vast windows showcased a breathtaking sunset, making the entire room feel like a sanctuary of luxury, far beyond anything I had ever imagined. Janice and I stood there in awe, overcome with gratitude for the unexpected kindness that had turned this trip into an unforgettable experience. Throughout our stay, a dedicated staff member was always at our disposal, ensuring every need was met. The meals were culinary masterpieces, and one evening, they prepared an incredible steak right before our eyes, turning dinner into a dazzling spectacle. After the indulgent meal, Janice and I wandered through the hotel lobby, admiring the decor, when suddenly, we heard raised voices. Drawn by the commotion, we approached and found my husband, Jack, and my mother-in-law, Charlotte, in a heated argument with the hotel staff. Confused, I called out, "Hey, what are you two doing here?" They both turned, just as shocked to see me. "Amy, what are you doing here?" Jack asked, his voice filled with confusion. "We're here as planned," I replied, feeling a surge of frustration. "But why did you send that harsh note?" Jack asked. "You were the one who suggested this trip," I said, my own confusion mounting. Jack glanced at Charlotte as if looking for support but then faltered. "Well, you were late. It's your fault," he stammered, trying to justify his anger. "Yes, we were late, but telling us to just camp out was unnecessary," I said. Charlotte remained silent, which only deepened my sense of betrayal. I turned to the hotel staff. "What's going on?" Jack, clearly frustrated, explained. "They won't let us check in. I don't understand why. I addressed the staff directly. Is there a problem? The staff member's tone grew serious. We were instructed not to allow them to check in. They abandoned you and your daughter, and as per the chairman's orders, we cannot accommodate them. It all became clear in that moment. Raymond had made his position clear. As the chairman of a prominent company, he had taken it upon himself to protect us. Jack and Charlotte's shock was evident as they began to grasp the extent of Raymond's involvement. What's happening? Jack muttered, bewildered. It's a long story, I said, but basically, Raymond's showing us that he won't tolerate what you did. The situation had taken an unexpected turn, revealing hidden layers in our relationships and a surprising ally. Jack shook his head, still lost. Who even knows about all this? I pulled out Raymond's business card, the one he had given me when we arrived. Jack's face drained as he read the name. This is from a major client of mine, he stammered, his hands trembling. Charlotte turned pale. Are you saying you know the chairman of this company? Yes, I said. I helped him when he collapsed at the airport, and to thank us, he arranged our flight and this hotel stay. Charlotte was visibly shaken, and Jack seemed speechless. Such a small world, he muttered, trying to process it all. Before this moment, I had no idea there was any connection between Raymond and Charlotte. But when Raymond found the note I had dropped at the airport, everything made sense. He had read it, and his reaction was swift and furious. Amy, what is this? He asked, his voice a mix of shock and disapproval. I explained how Jack and Charlotte had left us behind. Raymond's response had been immediate. That's unforgivable, he declared, making his stance clear. As Raymond pieced together the details, he asked, is your mother-in-law's last name Martin? Charlotte Martin. Yes, that's her, I confirmed. Raymond nodded. I know her. We train at the same gym. I can't believe she would do something like this. Turning to Jack and Charlotte, I couldn't help but smile at the irony. Well, since you two were supposed to be enjoying this trip together, I suppose Janice and I will just enjoy it by ourselves, I said. Maybe you could spend the night camping under the stars. How does that sound? That's horrible. You're the rudest person, they shouted, completely missing the irony of the situation. I chuckled, squeezing Janice's hand. Let's go, I said, leaving them behind as the hotel staff escorted them out. We don't have a room for you, they told Jack and Charlotte, who were forced to leave. And so, Janice and I enjoyed the rest of our trip. Just the two of us. The rift between Jack and me felt final, and I had no desire to mend it. Raymond's kindness had transformed what began as a challenging trip into a memorable and enriching experience for us both. When we returned home, we were filled with gratitude and cherished memories. Jack, on the other hand, returned looking defeated and worn out. It turned out that Raymond's influence was stronger than I had anticipated. No hotel in Hawaii would accept them, and they were left to camp outside. Jack also faced consequences at work when his boss informed him that Raymond's company was considering ending their contract due to his actions. Charlotte's friends at the gym began distancing themselves, and she eventually quit. Once dedicated to fitness, she now spent her days watching TV, a shadow of her former self. It became clear to me that her marriage was over. We proceeded with a divorce, and Janice's custody was naturally granted to me. I didn't seek alimony or child support, confident that I could provide for her on my own. Looking back, it all felt surreal, as if fate had guided these events. Being late to the airport had led me to meet Raymond, and his kindness had given us an unforgettable vacation. I had no regrets. Jack's priorities had never aligned with mine, always placing Charlotte's needs before ours. Now, with Janice by my side, I felt whole. The joy she brought me outweighed the sorrow from the past, and we looked forward to a bright future, just the two of us. Thanks for watching. See you next time, stay stunned.